Good afternoon, folks. It's
Hello,
good.
Justin.
Hi, David. And hi, Tara.
Let's hope you have a few more people.
Hello.
We may.
Justin, is this the first one of these we've done?
Uh, David, I think I'm getting echo from you.
Okay,
Let's see.
tell you what. I'll bet I need to do something.
David, hi. If you're having it in two places like your phone and the computer, so turn one off. It usually doesn't echo when you have it in two different places that you're logged in.
Now we can't hear you, David. So I think you can't hear us either. Yeah, I see. Let me put this in the chat because David's not on audio now. I'm guessing that means you can't hear us either.
You can chat him though. Just he needs to probably restart something.
Yeah.
Now, Justin, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. Is the echo still there?
Only when I talk or when Tara talks. David, I think what I'm going to do is I just put you on mute. If you've got a question or you want to comment, yep, perfect. And you can unmute. And then if you're not speaking, we can go and keep you on mute. So, well, we will go ahead and kick today off. Thanks for coming to our only November session for virtual office hours for the Quarry Innovation Center, formerly known as the Guadalupe Quarry Redevelopment Project. And I'm sure there's going to be questions about that when we get to our Q&A session. Today's agenda, we're going to talk about our purpose and outcomes for having these sessions. A little bit of information about our virtual office hours and some ground rules. We'll then do introductions, and then we'll go ahead and have a working session where we will go ahead and look at the FAQ document and record more questions for you from folks. And then we'll go ahead and we'll wrap up with some other announcements and updates. And the plan is that we will have this all completed and be offline by 5 p.m. So 54 minutes to go, folks. So with that said, I just want to ground everybody in our purpose and outcomes for hosting these virtual office hours. We do these most months, twice a month, not this month or next month because there are major holidays on the fourth Wednesday. But the reason is to provide a regular opportunity for the community to ask us questions about the project so that then we can go ahead and review the responses that we've provided and to see if folks have more questions or follow-up questions to those. We want to be able to provide and share facts and updates about the project. And then it's also an opportunity for our project team to meet more Brisbane residents and businesses. Now, virtual office hours are not a replacement for our in-person community open houses. We do, like I said, plan to host these twice per month. You can always attend as many as you'd like and are able to, but there's never a need to attend all of the meetings. And folks are welcome to start attending them at any time. We use the time together to co-create a frequently asked questions document that's linked and available on our project website, brisbanequarry.com. Here's a schedule for virtual office hours. You can see we've had a total of, today is the 7th session for 2025. And then in 2026, we have our dates scheduled for office hours through the first quarter. And so we will keep moving forward with these. And then just importantly, we are not going to have office hours 2 weeks from now on the night before on Thanksgiving Eve, and we will not have it on Christmas Eve either. So I hope that everybody enjoys and has a terrific holiday or holidays, but we'll probably see you hopefully on December 10th. Also, some information that's available on our website. On October 14th, we hosted an advanced manufacturing webinar with some third-party experts from around the Bay Area who provided just information about what advanced manufacturing is, with the goal of helping folks understand it. And we know we've received a lot of questions about that. You can review a recording of the webinar and also download the presentation that folks went through. That is the link right there. And then also, hold up, I'm going to hold my QR code. Tara, you'll remember I had to fix this slide and I thought I fixed it last time. Yeah. I need to fix the QR code still. Don't scan that QR code, but go to this link right here that has, there we go, we're gonna get rid of those, that has the recording and the materials on it. We've had some questions from folks about how we use information that you provide. Our teams, we're committed to respecting the privacy of every Brisbane resident, business, and anyone else who engages with our project and project team. So information you collect, like your name or email address, zip code, or messages between us, it's used to inform you about project updates and events, answer questions you ask. We don't sell your information or share it with third parties that are not related to the specific project in Brisbane or not related to specific, technical work. I've realized and I've learned when you fill out a Zoom registration form, technically your information is shared with them as well, but it stays confidential and all of that. We do also require folks and attendees to register on Zoom for these office hours versus just sending a link out. This is for us to go ahead and prevent spamming and as a layer of protection for all of the attendees from inappropriate material. I think we've all probably been to or heard secondhand of the way Zoom bombing, as it was called, took out. Lastly, you only need to register for once for each Zoom link. So we have a Zoom link for the second Wednesday and a Zoom link for the fourth Wednesday. One registration and then you're in for the entire series. But if you fill the form out again, that's also not any problem. Today's meeting, it is being recorded. You should have received notice for that when you logged in. We record our virtual office hours so people who can attend can always watch it later. And that way our team can review to ensure we fully capture questions that have been asked. Recordings are posted to YouTube and on our website, brisbanequarry.com. So that's a little bit about office hours. Now our ground rules before we get into today. First, number one ground rule is to listen to understand. So we ask that you give your full attention when others are speaking and avoid interrupting, letting other people finish their thoughts before you respond with your own. We also want to acknowledge differing perspectives before we share our own. So we want to make sure we speak respectfully using calm professional tones, even when we disagree. Our experience has been nothing but cordial and respectful with everybody on these, and I really appreciate that. We also want to focus on the issues and not the person. So, no name calling, no sarcasm or personal attacks. And we want to use I statements when we're talking about your perspective. So I'm concerned about this. I don't understand that versus you are blah, blah. We also want to stay on topic. So we're going to keep the comments and questions relevant to the office hours purpose, the Quarry Innovation Center project. We want to avoid tangents or unrelated debates that could derail the discussion. Our fourth ground rule is to assume positive intent and acknowledge impact. We assume and we believe that everybody's here in good faith, looking to learn more about the project. And so if harm occurs, and we hope that you do the same for us, if harm occurs, whether it's intentional or not, we want to acknowledge it and work to repair. We also want to share the air. So being mindful, we've got 3 of us here of how much we're each speaking. I guess it's not, hopefully everybody's going to have plenty of time today. And then step back or step up, depending on your contribution levels. We want to mind our language, so avoid inflammatory or politicized language or slang or imagery that could just unnecessarily escalate tensions. And we want to choose words that invite dialogue rather than shut it down. Lastly, and we've already chatted about this one, but technology etiquette. So make sure to mute when you're not speaking so we can reduce background noise. And if you have something that you'd like to chime in, either use the raised hand or the chat function to indicate you'd like to contribute. David, I think I'll know if you come off mute that there's something that you'd like to go ahead and chime in with. So before we get going with our reviewing our FAQ document, let's take just a moment for introductions. So just quickly, your name and then whether you are a Brisbane resident, work for a Brisbane business or represent a Brisbane business, a project team member, or just an otherwise interested person. I'll go ahead and start. My name is Justin Salters. I am part of the project team. My colleague Kit Cole and I, we lead community outreach and engagement for complex industrial projects. And so it's a pleasure to go ahead and be here with you. David, do you mind going next? I can't hear you now, David, but you're not muted. Tara, do you mind introducing yourself?
Oh, sure. My name is Tara Friedman, and I live on the foothills of San Bruno Mountain and have been working for saving the mountain and its environment since I was a little girl.
David, any chance your mic's working now? It's not.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you either, David, so.
Yeah.
Well, we went from having echo to having nothing now. So, David, well, you worked out. Well, he just chopped out. So we'll see if I'm sure he's going to join back in. Okay. Let's start with any new questions. And Tara, so I want to acknowledge Tara. You provided a lot of really good questions at our last one, and we had some travel. So I haven't been able to get all the responses loaded into this, but we do have responses to most all of them, and I'll have those up here for you by the end of the week. So I just want to name that out, and that's an update there. But happy to start taking any more questions or any new questions you have or other things you'd like to discuss.
Yeah, why don't you just answer all those?
Those ones there?
Yeah, because you
Um,
already answered 6. I don't want to waste my time. I want
okay,
answers. I don't
okay.
want to waste your time either.
um, so, okay, I have to like go track down through my emails and pull things together. I just haven't had time to fill this out yet. So do you have any? Tara, I will be getting these updates and I'll make sure to send you an email when I get the responses ported over into here for you to take a look at, and then let me know if you've got more questions or things from them. I think, a big piece of information or just an update that's obviously going to change things is since the plan is now no longer to have a data center as part of the project, A lot of the questions around data center operations are no longer that's not what the project's going to include anymore. So so I think a lot of these things, you'll notice that, but I'll be able to get the questions that still have to that are still relevant to the advanced manufacturing building. We'll be able to get responses for those.
I have a question about that. You know, we read through the project description, and data center is listed as one of the buildings that you could do.
I believe, isn't it listed as a conditional use?
No.
Okay.
So I don't get your statement, but I want to know, like, you sent the it's one of the questions, 30 questions that didn't get answered. Up. You sent it, Brisbane Council is voting on it, looking at it now. The project description, the new project description.
Not the city council, it has been submitted to the city, so to like the planning department.
And what happens after that?
So the next step is a determination. So since the city is the lead agency for the purposes of the California Environmental CEQA, it's up to them to determine what is the next step with the DEIR and how to proceed, because the project is different than the project that was studied in the DEIR that was circulated just about a year ago. So it is now in the city's hands to determine what they need for a DEIR and whether to recirculate whether to recirculate the draft EIR or elsewise. But that's the project has to be studied now because it's fundamentally different than the project that was studied. And then once the project and the EIR continue through the CEQA process.
When does the Brisbane Council vote on it? After the planning department says yes or no?
The let me type these in real quick, Tara, so I can make sure to keep track of them, and then I'll give you my current understanding. Now the city has received the updated project description. What comes next with the DEIR, CCAR? When will the city council vote on the DEIR? My understanding, Tara, is that there has to be an updated DEIR that reflects the new project description, and then that works its way through. So planning commission has to vote and give the recommendation on it, and then it'll work through that process before the city council votes on it. So it's not necessarily going to be anything anytime in the near future. So we're back to the process, if you will.
Do you know a time frame?
At this moment, I don't have a time frame. And like we don't have I don't have a time frame right now. A lot of this is up to the city to make determination on what the next steps and what that timeline looks like. And then it's a as the lead agency, they are really the ones who drive CEQA and the implementation of CEQA. And so then we as the developer are responsive to them. So they had to wait on us for an updated project description, and now we hear from them, and then we update technical studies, impacts mitigation measures, and then it works this process forward.
I have a lot of questions. Will the public be able to see what their planning department's requirements are from from the project description that you sent them? Is that a public document?
Can I ask clarifying? Can I ask for just some clarification on that, Tara? Are you asking, um, like what the city comes up with from like a timeline, or because the EIR will have to, the DEIR will have to be updated. Is that what you're asking?
Um, I heard that you're, if the council approves, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I just, this is
No,
really.
tell me what you've heard, Tara, because this is the best way for us to know like what information or what's out there, what are people saying?
Because there was one EIR and
Mm-hmm.
now Orchard Partners have downsized, they don't necessarily need to write another EIR if they get approved by Brisbane City Council. Is that true? The process, yeah, it's just the process, like how to,
Yeah, I have not heard that at all in any of our like project team meetings. Um,
I think that's legally how it runs, is maybe, but maybe I could have it wrong.
um,
I'm not a lawyer.
um, let me go ahead. What I will do, Tara, is what is the, legal, requirements, under CEQA for the new, because there is I'm gonna get this wrong. I'm sure on some, Tara, I'm also not an attorney. And David, I'm not an attorney. So I'm sure I'm gonna get some element of this wrong, if you will, Tara. But my understanding is like there are two paths, right? It's either like number one is you like throw out the old EIR and DEIR and just start fresh with a new DEIR. And then option two, I believe, and I could be completely wrong, but my understanding is option two is that you just you issue like it's a very much amended DEIR from the one from a year ago that reflects the new project description, reflects what the project currently would be. So what I can tell you with absolute certainty is that Orchard Partners is completely committed to the full environmental impact report, the full, compliance with CEQA. And we're going through that. We are committed to it. And that includes, the public comment period, that includes response to those comments, and then, voting on certification of the EIR.
Justin, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, good. And is there feedback?
There's
Sorry,
not.
I just lost that.
All right. What I did is I logged out and logged back in, and I'm not sure what that did. It could be when I came in, I clicked some other things. Tara, are you done for a moment?
Yes.
Okay, great. Justin, I didn't quite hear what you said at the beginning. Are you part of Kit Cole's company?
Yeah, Kit Cole and I work together.
Okay, good. That's all I want to know because that makes sense from what you're doing and etc. Okay. I don't have any other questions. I think I'm sitting in to listen.
Great.
And if Tara's just thinking,
Tara, and Tara, I do have some question. I can talk through some of the responses to these questions. So like I know the number question number 36 for the safety restrictions or limitations on the advanced manufacturing tenants. By the zoning, this is considered for light industrial, not heavy industrial. And so generally speaking, anything that has to do with, noxious, toxic substances, inputs or emissions is considered heavy industry, and so is not going to be would not be considered an acceptable use for the facility. I also had a discussion, our teams, just so you know, we really appreciated the question you asked about how will we ensure that the $1.8 million in funding is actually used by San Mateo County for San Bruno Mountains HCP implementation versus, going into a big piggy bank and who knows where the money actually ends up being done. So that's a really good point and question that we hadn't necessarily considered in the previously. We had thought about it, but always just assumed the money will go there. So thank you for raising that, and that's sparked a conversation for us.
I would imagine, Justin, that you have no control once you give it to the county, right?
I think that's the question, David, because I think there's I think that's the question that the attorneys are having, folks who are much smarter than I am are having to look into because seeing what options there are to ensure that funds given for the HCP go towards the HCP.
Gotcha.
Because I will just communicate, Tara, it is Orchard Partners, it's the project's absolute intent that the funds generated from this project should go towards the San Bruno Mountain HCP and active implementation of it. They shouldn't go towards whatever other parks project exists in the county. Okay. Well, seeing if there are no other questions, we will wrap up for tonight. What I will actually do though, Tara, because I've got some time at the end of my workday, is I'm going to jump in and start copying and pasting those responses that we've been able to collect onto the FAQ tracker. And then we will circulate an email later this week as we've been able to go ahead and get more responses from folks. So if that's it for today.
Well, almost. How's Kit doing?
She's doing well.
All right, good. Because she got her degree. And how many employees does she have now?
It's just she and I, just the two of us, and then we bring other folks on as we need. But yeah, it's the two of us.
How long have you been on it?
Kent and I've been working together for about almost a little more than 2 years or so, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Great.
All right. Thank you for the openness. I don't have questions. I just wanted to check in and see what's going on. On your previous meetings, because you said we've had 7 before, have you had many people show up?
We've had, I think, 6 or so at the beginning, and then 1 or 2 for most of them, though.
All right. Keep doing it. I agree with you. It's important, this outreach.
Thank you.
See what happens. All right. Well, have a good night.
Thanks, David.
Night. Thank you.
Good
Thank
night,
you,
Tara.
Tara.